Anyway, it's time now for our next guest. She became a household name as Bubbles in the brilliant Ab Fab. And also she wowed us in the West End and on film in Little Voice. She's now on stage every night at the Young Vic as Annie Oakley in the classic musical Annie, Get Your Gun. Would you please welcome the wonderful Jane Horrocks? I hope you don't have a feather allergy. Come and have a sit down. Hello. Oh, she doesn't have a feather allergy, so that's good, because there's quite a few feathers here, but fortunately no hen poo, which does come out looking like a Mr. Whippy on the pavement. It's not nice. That's not nice. Welcome. Lovely to see you, Jane. So this show, is it a show that you were a fan of? Had you seen the film, Annie, Get Your Gun and all that?
I hadn't before I was offered the part, but I've since seen the film, which is marvellous.
It is marvellous,
yes. Yeah. Howard Keel's teeth are very extraordinary because they're so white. We don't have as white teeth in our show, but it is a lovely film.
And I think, how many people think that it's Doris Day in Annie, Get Your Gun? None of you, because you're too clever. You see, I thought it was, but she was Calamity Jane, wasn't it? And
yes,
it was Betty
that's right.
Hutton.
Yes, Betty Hutton and Howard Keel were in Annie, Get Your Gun, yes. But people do get it mixed up, and they get mixed up with all the songs as well. I've had arguments with people with There's No Business Like Show Business, where people have said, no, that's not in it. It's not in it. I said, it is in it.
Because you're singing it every night.
It definitely is.
But that was also in another musical, wasn't it? Ethel Merman sang it in another musical, so people
No, she didn't. She played Annie. She sang it in Annie, Get Your Gun, Ethel Merman.
On stage?
Yes, that's what she became famous for.
But then she put it in a movie as well, so who knows?
No, she didn't put it in a movie.
I think you'll find I might be wrong. And how would you describe Annie? Because she was a real feminist, wasn't she?
Yeah, she's sort of like a freak of nature, really, because she's just this brilliant sharpshooter, and she just does it naturally. And she enters a shooting competition against Frank Butler and wins, but doesn't have much success with men. Hence, she can't get a man with a gun, and you know, desperately wants to have this relationship with Frank Butler. So really, that's the story: her trying to win him over. And although he does fall in love with her, but then they sort of battle it out towards the end, and she has to lose the shooting match to win Frank. So not that much of a feminist.
And it's almost as if you are in a saloon bar with the honky-tonk pianos.
Yes, that's right. We've got 4 pianos.
Which is fantastic. Yeah. So not a huge orchestra.
No, there's nothing. That's it.
The 4 pianos, which must be a fantastic thing to hear when you're in such a small place, because the Young Vic is small and very intimate, isn't it? You can reach out and touch people.
And sometimes you can feel, as a singer, a bit drowned out by the musicians, but where they're placed at the front of the stage, well, sort of underneath us, really, underneath the stage, so they're right by the audience, and you just feel that you're on top of them, so you can really project the sound.
And we know you for your fabulous natural regional accent, which is great, and also for the voices that you can do of different singers, different actresses, Little Voice, of course, and now you're taking on Gracie Fields.
Yes.
Did she... I'm sorry, excuse my ignorance on geography as well, but where did she come from in relation to where you grew up?
She comes from Rochdale. I mean, I'm not far away from her, so but her accent actually was quite strange because she spent such a lot of time in America doing films that she had this sort of mid-Atlantic sound that was going on. So even though you'd think I wouldn't need any sort of dialect lessons, I did for that character, just to get that sort of American sort of sound going.
She pulled the crowds as Madonna would.
Yes, and she's a massive star. In the 30s, she was the highest paid actress in the world. I mean, she was just incredible. I mean, you know, this woman from Lancashire, from a mill town, that just, took the world by storm. Starting off in vaudeville and then just worked her way to London and then, you know, made films and was just universal, yeah.
And she was so truly loved, and yet when she fell in love with her husband, there was... People found it quite difficult to agree with the person that she'd married because she married an Italian during the war and he was, of course, on the enemy's side, so to speak.
Yeah, so they had to leave, but then the British public, well, not the British public, the British press said that she deserted and there was, terrible things said about her. But actually, she hadn't deserted. She was doing a massive concert, tour in Canada for the war effort. She raised millions for Spitfires, actually, for the war effort. And even, I mean, Goebbels wanted to have her bumped off because she was such a threat, because she was making so much money for the war. So, I mean, there was a hotel that she and Monty Banks, her Italian husband, were staying in, and they bombed that hotel thinking that she was living there. She was there.
Good heavens. Well, let's have a look at a clip. Here we go.
Miss Fields, would you sing one for me? Remind me of my sweetheart. No, I don't half miss her, Miss Fields, please.
Of course I will, lad. What's her name?
It's Sally.
I thought it might be.
Would you sing Sally for me?
If you go out to sing in the cold, your voice will go before the concert. Laryngitis, bronchitis, pneumonia, double pneumonia. How long will you last?
Look at him, Monty. Look at the little lad. How long's he gonna last, eh? Never mind me. How long's he gonna last? It's why I'm here. Come on then, lads!
Ladies and gentlemen, Jane Horrocks.